right, let's talk about relationships. So in the IEP model, you've got the 4 different quadrants that make up the energetic presence components. And relational energy, to me, is one of the most important pieces that you can be looking at. So remember, you've got your physical and your environmental energy, you have your mental and emotional energy, you have your vibrational energy, and then you have your relational energy. The beauty, they all work with each other. They all have a huge impact on each other. And if you just work on one, the rest of them tend to be impacted. So let's look at relationship energy. Let's look at that. Now, the relationship energy is the idea where you have relationships in your life that feel absolutely amazing to you. And you're with the person and things hum and it's reciprocal and it's just, you feel like a better person just for being in that relationship. Then you have the relationships where when they call you and you see their number on caller ID, your heart sinks. Or you see that they're going to be on one of your project teams and your heart sinks. Or you have a team meeting and there's that one person that you just do this with. This is just relational energy. So relational energy is looking at the dynamics and the energy and the feeling that you have when you think about that relationship and when you interact. So the idea here is to really look at what that is, to identify it, to not make it wrong or to judge it, even if it's really, really horrible, but just to notice it and to be aware of it. The next step is to look at how you're contributing to it. So this to me is the secret sauce, and this is one of the primary things about IEP, is always looking at how am I contributing to the things that are happening in my life in a way that feels really, really great or that doesn't feel great. So if I'm in a relationship with somebody and I'm pointing the finger at them, if I look at my pointed fingers, I always have 3 fingers pointed back at me. Now, a lot of people think that this is a really horrible thing and they want to blame everybody else. However, I see this is one of our greatest superpowers, and this is a beautiful place of power for me to be able to look at how do I want to shift. There's always something that I'm doing in a relationship that's contributing to whatever energy and result we're feeling. So that's step 1, is to just notice, how am I doing? Like, how am I contributing to this? I promise you, and I've done this on myself a million times and I've seen other people do it, I promise you, if there's something you're not happy about in relationship, there's something that you're doing or not doing that's contributing to more of the same with that. So it could be as simple as not holding boundaries. It could be as simple as not speaking your truth or procrastinating, or simply not telling somebody, giving somebody feedback that they really need to have. There are a million different things here that I could be passively contributing to the relationship dynamics. So just be honest with yourself. Next thing you could do, if you do your work around this and you find that, okay, actually I feel pretty clean about this, is to go to the person you're in relationship with or the team and to just name it. And naming it simply looks like this. Hey, George, I noticed that it feels like there's a little bit of tension in our relationship. I'm not even sure what the tension is. I just know that I really value our relationship together. I really want us to have a better working relationship or personal relationship or whatever. Can we look at this? I'm not sure if I've done something to create tension. I'm not sure what it actually is, but I'm committed to really looking at this and unpacking it so we can have a better relationship. The minute I've named it and with an open heart gone to kind of start to work on it, the energy of that relationship is going to shift. Just as the minute I look at how I'm contributing to the dynamic, the energy starts to shift. So notice that every time I look at a new place, I'm shifting the energy. I'm actually opening the energy up to that relationship. So there's a lot more space for me to look at. The third thing I want you to do is to notice how clear you are on your decisions. So notice, if you say you really want to have a good relationship with somebody, have you truly decided to have a good relationship with somebody? Because I see it happen so often where somebody says, I want to have a good relationship, or I want this promotion, or I want to be a good parent, or whatever it might be. But they haven't fully energetically stepped over the line into the place of what I think of as the full body decision. So just notice that. Notice if it's a true full body decision for you, or if it's a should decision, or you're just kind of still leaving that little back door open. Here's how you know if you have a back door open. Back door open means that you wait for the other person to do something wrong. And when they do something wrong, you feel a little bit justified. Back door open means that you get that feeling where you should say something to them or you should do something nice and you don't do it. You're always leaving a little bit extra on the table just in case. So I want you to just, if that resonates for you as part of your decision-making process, that's great. If it doesn't, I want you to look for yourself at where you decide, where a decision lives in your body, and the relationships that you see that you really want to be better. Do you really want them to be better? Have you truly decided? Because I promise you, if you've decided to make them better, you will shift that dynamic. Doesn't mean it's going to be better. You have no control over them, but you have control over your own energetic state, and deciding is one of those key pieces. Of course, there's a ton of information on IEP School about the relationship quadrant, so dive in deep there. But in the meantime, the last place I want you to look at in relationship is, who are you surrounding yourself with? They've done studies and they've shown that the 5 people that we surround ourselves with most will become the average sum of those people. So finances, health, eating habits, career progression, purpose-centered, whoever you're surrounding yourself with, that's having an impact on who you're becoming. So just notice which relationships need a little bit of tweaking, which relationships need some celebrating and some nurturing, and which relationships you have to go back to, and not necessarily fire your friends or your family, because that's not what we're talking about here. Just go to them and to say, hey, you know what? I'm noticing that when we're together, we're focusing on these things, and it doesn't feel that great. Or I'm noticing when we're together, we spend a lot of time gossiping and complaining, and that doesn't feel great to me. So you can either change it by naming it, or you can just change it by becoming it. Right? So if I'm changing it by becoming it, that means when I go into that relationship that is based on complaining and gossip, instead of telling the person to stop complaining and gossiping, I just stop engaging in it. And I change the direction of that conversation. So name it or become it. You got to decide, but first of all, you got to be aware. So there's some things to play with. Have fun with it, and I will see you soon.